The Midnight Visitor is a fascinating and suspenseful story written by Robert Arthur. The story highlights how intelligence, quick thinking, and presence of mind can be more powerful than physical strength or weapons. The main characters are Ossible, a secret agent, Fowler, a young writer, and Max, a rival spy. The story begins with Fowler, a young and romantic writer, accompanying Ossible, a secret agent, to his hotel room in Paris. Fowler has always imagined secret agents as handsome, athletic, mysterious, and adventurous people who are constantly involved in thrilling situations. However, when he meets Ossible, he feels disappointed. Ossible is quite fat, walks heavily, and speaks with an American accent even though he has lived in Paris for many years. Nothing about him seems exciting or heroic. The hotel itself is old and gloomy, and his room is small and ordinary. Fowler feels that the reality of a secret agent is very different from what he had imagined. As they walk toward the room, Ossible notices Fowler's disappointment and humorously describes what Fowler had expected. He says that Fowler probably imagined secret agents receiving secret messages from beautiful women, carrying guns, and engaging in dangerous adventures. Instead, Fowler has spent a dull evening with a fat man who only receives ordinary telephone calls. Ossible tells him not to lose hope because soon he will witness something dramatic. He explains that an important report concerning new missiles is going to be delivered to him that night. Several people have risked their lives to obtain this report, and it may even influence the course of history. This statement sparks Fowler's interest. When Ossible unlocks the door and enters the room, the situation suddenly becomes exciting. Standing in the room is a man named Max, holding a small automatic pistol. Fowler is shocked and frightened. At last, he feels that he is witnessing a real spy adventure. Ossible, however, remains calm. Instead of showing fear, he speaks casually to Max and asks what he is doing there. Max explains that he has come to steal the secret report that is supposed to be delivered that night. He believes the report will be safer in his hands than in Ossible's. Max is a slim and clever-looking spy who appears confident because he is armed with a gun. Surprisingly, Ossible does not panic. He sits down comfortably and begins complaining about the hotel management. He says that this is the second time in a month that someone has entered his room through the balcony. Fowler is confused because he has not noticed any balcony outside the room. Max also seems surprised and admits that he entered using a passkey rather than through a balcony. Ossible then explains that the balcony actually belongs to the next apartment. He tells Max and Fowler that the room was once part of a larger suite and that the balcony extends beneath his window. According to him, a person can reach the balcony from another room down the corridor. He adds that someone had used it to enter his room a month earlier, and the management had promised to block access to it but had failed to do so. Max believes this explanation. He continues to wait for the report, keeping Ossible and Fowler under the threat of his gun. Ossible mentions that the report is expected at 12:30 and casually wonders how Max learned about it. Max proudly replies that he intends to recover the report for his own side. Suddenly, there is a knock at the door. The unexpected sound startles Fowler. Ossible, however, remains calm and says that it must be the police. He explains that because the report is so important, he had arranged for the police to visit and check on him. This statement immediately makes Max nervous. The knock becomes louder, and a voice from outside calls out, "Mr. Ossible." Mr. Ossible. Ossible confidently tells Max that if he does not open the door, the police will enter anyway because the door is unlocked. He also warns Max that the police will not hesitate to shoot if they find him there. Max becomes frightened and realizes he may be trapped. Desperate to escape, he decides to hide on the balcony until the police leave. Keeping his gun pointed at Ossible and Fowler, Max climbs onto the window sill. He warns Ossible to send the police away or he will shoot. Then he swings his legs over the window and jumps toward the supposed balcony. A moment later, a terrible scream is heard. Max has fallen because there is actually no balcony outside the window. Immediately afterward, the door opens. To Fowler's amazement, there are no police officers. Instead, a waiter named Henry enters carrying a tray with drinks that Ossible had ordered earlier. He places the tray on the table and leaves the room. Fowler is completely stunned. He asks Ossible about the police. Ossible calmly explains that there were never any police. The man at the door was only Henry, the waiter. Fowler then asks whether Max will return. Ossible smiles and reveals the truth. There was never any balcony outside the window. He had invented the entire story to trick Max. The story ends with Fowler realizing that real secret agents do not necessarily rely on physical strength, weapons, or dramatic action. Ausable defeated a dangerous armed spy using only his intelligence, quick thinking, and presence of mind. The story beautifully demonstrates that mental sharpness and confidence can be far more effective than force, making Ausable a truly remarkable secret agent. Like, share and subscribe. Empower Aspire. Drop a comment if you want any lessons. Thank you.